Hi everyone, this is question number 5 of June 2021 paper 1. So the question begins by saying that expand 1 plus ax to the power n in ascending powers of x up to and including the term x to the power 3. Express each coefficient of x in terms of a and n, where a and n are constants and n is greater than 2. So at first we need to expand this expression of 1 plus ax to the power n. I usually prefer to write it in the form of a plus bx to the power t, but as we already have a in the given expression, so let me just write it in this form: c plus bx to the power d. So where c is equals to 1, and when c is equals to 1, we can just directly go and expand it without doing anything else to bring 1 in the expression, because we already have a 1 in the expression. So the first step would be the expansion of any expression in the form of c plus bx to the power d would be 1 plus d multiplied by bx plus d multiplied by d minus 1 divided by 2 multiplied by 1 multiplied by bx squared plus d multiplied by d minus 1 multiplied by d minus 2 divided by 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1 and bx to the power 3x cubed. So for the given expression, 1 plus a, is it 1 plus ax? Yeah, 1 plus ax to the power n. This would be 1 plus ax to the power n, where a is equals to b and c is equals to 1 and n is equals to d. So 1 plus d is, in our expression, is n, and b is a, so it would be ax plus d would be in our expression n multiplied by n minus 1 divided by 2 multiplied by 1, or you can just write 2 factorial, and b is ax to the power 2 plus n multiplied by n minus 1 multiplied by n minus 2 divided by 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1, and b is ax to the power 3. So it will be 1 plus nax plus, I will keep this in this form, so n multiplied by n minus 1 divided by 2 multiplied by a squared plus x squared plus n multiplied by n minus 1 multiplied by n minus 2 divided by 6, 3 multiplied by 2 is 6, a cube x cube. So this will be the answer for part A. You don't have to expand this. This expansion will be very long if you do it right now, but you might not need it. It's just a 2 marks question, so you don't need that. And the coefficient of x is given to be 15. The coefficient of x squared is equals to the coefficient of x cubed. Find the value of a and n. So the coefficient is actually, if I were to write it, the coefficient of x is actually n multiplied by a, so it's na. So the coefficient is actually a constant that is actually getting multiplied with the variable. In our question, the variable is the x, and n multiplied by a will actually give a constant, and that constant is the coefficient of x. And for x squared, the coefficient is n multiplied by n minus 1 divided by 2 a squared. The coefficient of x cubed is n multiplied by n minus 1 multiplied by n minus 2 divided by 3 divided by 6. You can just write that. So divided by 6 and multiplied by a cube. So these are the coefficient. So they say that the coefficient of x is n. So the coefficient of x we got given coefficient of x is 15, right? And we got x to be close to na. So we can just equate this. So na would be equals to 15 and a would be equals to 15 by n, which I would say would be equation 1 for us. And we are saying that the coefficient of x square is equals to the coefficient of x cube. So the coefficient of x square we got was we got the coefficient of x squared to be n multiplied by n minus 1 by 2a squared, and the coefficient of x cubed to be n multiplied by n minus 1 multiplied by n minus 2 by 6 a cube. So we can just equate this. So they said that the coefficient of x squared is equals to the coefficient of x cubed. So for this, it would be n multiplied by n minus 1 divided by 2a is equals to a square is equals to n multiplied by n minus 1 multiplied by n minus 2 divided by 6 a cube. So the a square and this would get cancelled. So this would just be a. So what I did is that a cube divided by a square would be 3 minus 2, which would be just 1. So a to the power 1. And n minus 1 is in both sides. N is in both sides as well. And 2 multiplied by 6 divided by 2 is 3. So it would just be 3. So this would be 1. The left hand side will become 1 because everything in that side was cancelled off. So it's just 1 equals to n minus 2 divided by 3a. And if I take that to 3 to the left hand side, then it will be 3 multiplied by n minus 2 multiplied by 8. And now we can just directly or we can just expand at this, or we can directly put it. Let's see. No, it's better to expand. So this would be 3 equals to na minus 2a. So now we can put a is equal to 15 by n in equation 2. Or you could have written this in this form as well. It would be n equals to 15 by a. It would be the same thing. So it's your choice actually. So it would be n multiplied by a is 15 by n minus 2, and a is 15 by n. So this would be 3 is equals to 15. The n will get cancelled. N will get cut off, and this would be minus 30n. If we take the minus 30n to the left hand side, so it would be positive 30 by n. And this would be, if I take the 15 to the right hand, if I take the 3 to the right hand side, so it will be 15 minus 3, which would become to be 12. So 30 by n is equals to 12. So n would be, if I take n to the right hand side, and if I bring 12 in the denominator, or if I just cross multiply however you call it, so it would be n equals to 30 by 12. So 30 by 12 will come out to be 5 by 2. If you just put it in the calculator, you get that. And A, we know that from the equation 1 is 15 by n. So 15 by 5 by 2 will come out to be 6. So this is the answer for part B, sorry. And for part C, they have asked us to find the coefficient of x cubed. So for C, the coefficient of x cubed we got was n multiplied by n minus 1 multiplied by n minus 2 divided by 6 multiplied by a cubed. And we already know what n is. So n is 5 by 2. And let me just write it down. N is 5 by 2 and a is 6. So if we put this, n is 5 by 2 multiplied by 5 by 2 minus 1 multiplied by 5 by 2 minus 2 divided by 6 multiplied by a 6 cubed. Sorry, it will be 6 cubed. Then if you put all this in the calculator, you would get 67.5. So 67.5 is the coefficient of x cubed. So that is it for part C as well. And thank you.